Hi, this is Dr. Steve McQueen again, and I am a statistician, as I was telling you before, and I've taught college, online college now for over 20 years. And the whole idea is, what we're trying to accomplish here is I want to explain how I come up with the idea of why homeschool and why not college. Because everybody wants to redo college, but nobody really wants to redo high school in a new way. And so I decided that I would go the homeschool route rather than, and I'm going to try to explain why I come up with that idea rather than going the college route. And the first idea came to me. I was going to my wife's in-laws, and we were in Stanford. And my in-laws lived next door to Stanford. And while I was there, I saw a campus. It was called Menlo Park Boys Business School. And it was mostly boys there. Sorry, girls. They didn't have as many girls there. But it was an elite campus for boys. And they were teaching mostly they were teaching as business classes. And so I thought of the idea that this is interesting. These were elite people sending their kids to this school. In fact, this school was created by Stanford College business professors. And they thought, well, wouldn't this be neat if we could make some money off of this? And so they created this school. And so that was my first inkling of how that came about. Now, what I did is when I was teaching, my first 5 years of when I was teaching in a regular college, a traditional college, lecturing and everything else, I created a Mexican restaurant. And in that Mexican restaurant, I hired a lot of high school students. I had them from, this is before the work ethic, I had them from 14 all the way up to 16, 17, 18 that were working at my place. And what I did is I devised strategies similar to McDonald's, where I was concept of bringing these kids to a practical knowledge of using the skills I taught at the college level, similar to this Menlo Park business this business school. And so I found out over the last 15, 20 years after closing this this Mexican restaurant that I owned, because I went back into higher ed again, online, I found most of these guys became doctors, lawyers. I had 3 or 4 businessmen that came out of my Mexican restaurant. And I'm saying, wow, it's amazing what teenagers can learn. Look at McDonald's, what they've been able to do. There is probably more millionaires that came out of kids that were working at high school, working for McDonald's probably than any other industry. So that was something good. Then I went, while I was teaching online, I started teaching for the University of Phoenix, and you've probably heard that before. And the one thing I liked about the University of Phoenix is it's very business prone. So it's a lot of case studies and everything else. But while I was teaching for the University of Phoenix, I went to San Diego, and I went to a meeting with the University of Phoenix. It was kind of a regional meeting. And we were sitting there, and I sat next to this guy, and I won't call it what his name is because I forgot it. And he was telling me he was taking his University of Phoenix courses, and he was using it in San Diego for elite bunch of students, and having these parents pay megabucks to come to his high school. And I thought to myself, wow, there's the Menlo Park, there's the Menlo High School or Business School right there. And he's doing that in San Diego using his University of Phoenix education to teach these kids. And these rich people were sending their kids there because it was totally different than a public school. They were getting business skills, something of value, skills, not just theory. And I thought, this is fantastic. So what happened is a few years ago, 5 of us, we got together and we thought of an idea of creating a college. And so we sat down and we put all these parameters that I'm putting together right here of how we can create this college. We took it to the state, and the state looked at it. They sat on it for about 6 months to a year, and then they turned around and they said, we're not going to pass this. And it's too much like, it's too much competition to our other colleges. The problem is that a lot of the states, they think a college is lectures and buildings. They don't see this online stuff that I see, because I've been teaching online for almost 20 years. And so I see that online is the new form of education. And it's going to go digital. It's not going to remain lectures anymore, especially when artificial intelligence takes over. And Google and also YouTube are going to be big players in this new form of college, which I call, or they're going to be the new college, and especially as lifelong learning takes place. So that's the story, and I thought, oh boy, they won't let me do it there? What I'm going to do is I'm going to create a My Skills Development Center for high school students. And I thought of the idea first starting with homeschool students, because one of the things is the state and the federal government doesn't have as much control in those areas. And I thought, well, we could create a skills-oriented program similar to the one that we were wanting to create in the college level, which the state didn't pass. Well, we could do the same thing at a high school level. And through my studies of this for the last 6 months to a year, I've come to the conclusion that the billionaires suggest that teenagers are the best place to start. The billionaire yardstick is that most of the billionaires knew what they were going to do at 12 years old. They had a skill, whether it's coding, some computer science, whatever that skill was. Even still, Steve Jobs, in creating the Apple computer, he knew at 12 years old he was going to create a computer. All these kids knew at 12 years old. So why wait to college to learn? And that's why I've decided to create My Skills Development Center. We believe that the earlier and the faster a student learns these skills, the better. Not waiting until they're 25 years old or 30. Our belief is by waiting too long and spending all kinds of money going to college, and 4 and 6 years is not the best way to do it. And the 20 billionaires that we are going to add to you to watch their video feel the same way. So, like we said, your first month is free. It's on us. And the next month's welcome on board, and we'll see you in our class.